Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So, this is something we've not talked about. We've kind of touched base on it in other videos, but I want to address overemployment, otherwise known as being OE. There's actually a subreddit on Reddit that's overemployed that talks about this issue in depth. I wrote a few little notes on things that I wanted to discuss with you. So let's talk a little bit about what overemployment is. Overemployment is having more than one job at the same time. Now, smart overemployment means that none of your job's hours overlap. You can get into trouble if job 1, you say you work that 8 to 5, but job 2, you're working 4 to 8. So there'd be an hour of overlapping. And that is not a good thing. Having jobs in the same area, so say healthcare and healthcare, or tech and IT, it's kind of close, but not exactly. So you don't want both jobs to be in the same area. And you definitely don't want any overlapping of the hours. So let's talk a little bit about overemployment. So say, for example, you decide, yes, Becky, I want to be overemployed. We've got a lot of bills. Maybe I'm a single parent. Maybe there has been an illness. Maybe somebody's job had got laid off, because there's been a lot of, for business needs, canceling of employment, canceling of training classes. So we need to be aware of the reasons why people overemploy in the first place. Maybe they want to retire early, or maybe something has happened where we realize that the pay from one job is not going to cover it. And as 2023 started in January, it's a lot harder to get one job, let alone two. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you do that. So the first thing I hear a lot of people about is, Becky, I need to work part-time in the evenings. Becky, I need overnights. Becky, why can't I get training in the evenings? Because I already work a full-time job. You need to map it out. So, for example, everybody knows I've applied with NextRep for the Teledoc campaign, and that starts on the 16th of October. I intend to have my hours late evening and overnight. And what that allows me to do, during the day, you have to do training. So you have to do training during the day. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. And after training, which training is a couple of weeks, then you pick your schedule, because NextRep is a 1099 company. You pick your schedule out of what is available, and those are I'm going to work 2 4-hour shifts, or maybe 1 4-hour shift, or a 6-hour shift, or something like that. That is going to be basically my extra job. And you want to do that first. So if you are looking for employment, get the job done that's going to be overnight, because during the day is when you have to train. And once you have the overnight, late evening overnight shift done, then find the daytime shift, which of course will be training during the day as well. It is a lot more difficult to be working during the day and then try to find overnight shift. And people say, well, why? I'll be working overnight. Yes, but your trainers are not paid to work overnight, and they're the ones who are going to be training you. So that's why training is during the day, because those are their work hours, and then you move overnight. And let's talk a little bit about discussing overemployment with potential employers. You are not obligated to tell anybody about any secondary job, overemployment, or anything like that. I've had a couple of companies ask, are you already working? What are you doing right now? Are you in other interviews. And I always say, I always keep my options open, sir, ma'am, and just leave it at that. You do not owe anybody. As long as the work hours, do not overlap, you don't owe an explanation with potential or current employers that you are looking for extra work. Always say, listen, I always keep my options open and we'll just see from there. Talking with coworkers. I understand that we want to be friendly with our coworkers. However, somebody may get a little bug up their butt about something you say or do, or a promotion you get, or a pay raise you get, and suddenly go tattling to other people about your overemployment. So do not discuss overemployment unless you are really in a tight friendship. You can give a general, oh yeah, I've heard of overemployment. Yeah, who finds the time? Yeah. So don't have that conversation with coworkers, because like HR, coworkers are not always your friends. It's okay to be friendly, but you don't need to sit there and talk your business about that. Speaking of meetings, if you have meetings, you need to make sure, this is another reason you don't overlap hours. You need to make sure that your meetings are not overlapping. You need to do for each job, commit fully to it. So that means go to all your meetings, make all your metrics, do not call out. I know you're going to be tired, so make one job a full-time job, one job a part-time job. Just do what you got to do. But you are responsible to each job to meeting their expectations and metrics. So if you're not able to do that, then yeah, overemployment is not for you. Overtime. Understand with each job whether or not there be overtime. If you are working with a healthcare company, a lot of times during open enrollment, annual enrollment period, there is a mandatory overtime. So you need to just be very aware of that. Ask those clarifying and probing questions about the expectations during those months. Talking about benefits. If you are working 2 W-2 full-time jobs and you get benefits from both, and you decide to take benefits from both, one insurance will be primary, one insurance will be secondary. You can call the insurance company and ask. Also, that kind of allows you to do what you need to do as far as stocking up your 401k and this and that. Now, talking about if you are already working and you are adding a second job, let's talk about background checks here just a little bit. Some companies like HireRight is really, really in-depth about their background checks. Sterling, not so much, but HireRight, if you have them as a background check provider, they dig into everything. So you need to come up with something to say about, I'm still active with them, but let them know if you're currently working or not. So anyways, this is just my thoughts on overemployment. If you have a comment or question, hit down below. My name is Becky, and I will see you next time.